welcome to another Rich Habits, Poor Habits webcast. I'm Michael Yardney and welcome Tom Corley.
Good to be back, Michael.
Tom, each week we spend time talking about why the rich keep getting richer and why the poor have different ways of thinking and different habits. And one of the things that you learn from your 5-year study is that becoming rich isn't always smooth sailing. It involves taking risks. And yes, it even involves sacrifices. So you've outlined there's 4 ways to become rich. Maybe we can start with that.
Yes. So what I really found in my research is that there's really 2 groups of individuals who become self-made millionaires. They're the individuals that live below their means and save their way to becoming wealthy. That's probably the least risky approach. But it does require sacrifice. You have to live below your means, which means you can't, maybe buy the things that you would like to own, the want spending that you want to do. Then there's the other group. This is Robert Kiyosaki fits into this group. He's a risk taker. These individuals who become wealthy by taking risks are the entrepreneurs, the ones that, and they usually become the wealthiest. In fact, in my study, the average net worth of that group of self-made millionaires was 7.4 million versus 3.4 million for the ones who saved their way to wealth.
So there's 2 ways to start with: live below your means and save. And that's the hard way because inflation takes it away from you and it takes a lot of time. The other is expand your means, Tom, which you're basically saying is get a bigger pie to share part of rather than saving a little bit of what you're earning. I guess the 3rd way, Tom, would be to do both, because you could do a bit of both. What do you mean by that?
Well, imagine that you're, going to become an entrepreneur. You're going to follow your dream, pursue something you're passionate about. And at the same time, you're going to do it organically. You're going to watch your expenses. You're going to live below your means. And it might take you a little bit longer, but you're actually putting both methodologies, wealth building methodologies, to work for you, and that is actually going to probably get you significantly more wealth down the road because you're watching every penny that you spend, while at the same time you're taking a risk with the pennies that you're putting in there.
That makes sense, Tom, because unfortunately a lot of people, as they earn more as a wage earner or as they make a success of their business or investing, they tend to spend more. So they have high income, but high income doesn't necessarily equate to wealth, does it?
No, I call this lifestyle creep, and we see it. Remember, we had that fight not too long ago with Conor McGregor. Well, almost within 30 days of that fight, he bought a $12 million yacht. So he's just falling into the trap that a lot of wealthy people fall into on a bigger level. We might spend, let's say we make another $20,000 or $30,000, somebody in the middle class. Well, they might say, hey, let's go on a $6,000 vacation. You know what I mean? So instead of going on that $2,000 vacation that you've been going on for the last 10 years, that lifestyle creep can really destroy your wealth.
So they're the 3 ways of becoming wealthy. What's the 4th way, Tom?
Getting lucky, Michael. This is for the people that like to play the lottery. They like to gamble, or I had a friend who called me up one day. He lives out in Chicago, and he said, "You're never going to believe this, but I'm one of those people that had a long lost relative that just, and I inherited $1 million." So you can get lucky like that, right? Winning the lottery, getting some inheritance you didn't expect. But that's so that infinitesimal, that wealth building strategy doesn't really work for that often.
Tom, I got a couple of thoughts on that. Lottery is a tax for people who don't know how to do maths because they lose. But the other is, if you suddenly do get a windfall, whether it's inheritance or a lottery, but you haven't grown to the sort of person who can look after that amount of money, you're soon going to lose it. Tom, we read all the time about people who end up getting a windfall and losing it. And in my mind, if you took all the money in the world and distributed it evenly, it'd soon be back in the same pockets again, in the same proportions, just because you've got to have the mindset. So you can't drive a Ferrari with the mindset of with the engine of a Hyundai.
No, and this is a good point. money actually magnifies your good habits and your bad habits. So if you're a generous person and you fall into money, you're going to be more generous. If you like to party and you fall into money, you're going to find ways to party in a more expensive manner. So there's money can really, when the more money you make, it's like a magnifying glass on your habits. So if you don't forge those good habits before you make the money, then when you do make the money, it's just going to magnify whatever problems and deficiencies you have in your habits.
That makes a good point. So in summary, you suggested there are 4 ways of becoming rich. Live below your means. Now, that doesn't mean you've got to scrimp and save, because you should also enjoy the journey. If you don't enjoy the journey, you won't enjoy the destination. Or you can expand your means. The third way is a combination of both, which I think we both agree is the most appropriate way. So set up your own business, get investing in stocks, get investing in real estate, whatever, and learn how to become financially fluent so you're in control of your money. Do a combination of both, probably the most appropriate way, or getting lucky, and I wouldn't count on that. That's not a good financial plan. Tom, there's lots more great information in our book, Rich Habits, Poor Habits, and I know it's now available in good bookshops in the United States, definitely in Amazon in the United States, and in fact all around the world in online as a Kindle book or in bookshops around the world. It's starting to go gangbusters. It's picking up very well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And if you just look, we've just started really in the US, but we already have 2 comments on there, and they're both, I think one's a 4-star, one's a 5-star. And if you read the comments, it's exactly what you and I were striving to accomplish when we wrote this book, which is get right to the heart of it. Not, instead of, the theory, we're trying to point people in the right direction in terms of where the rubber meets the road, right? And that was one of the comments, and I thought, boy, that's great, because that means we achieved what we were pursuing.
Well, that's great. So you can get your own copy at richhabitspoorhabits.com. Thanks, Tom. I look forward to catching up with you next week for another chat.
Same here, Michael.